Well, all right. Welcome to Strange Stories with Jeremiah Byron. Man, there's eight of you already hanging out. I am loving it. Tonight is gonna be crazy. Who do we got? So, real quick, um, if you listen to Art Bell back in the day, he did have a rule or two. I am gonna put a rule into play. Um, the rule is that first, this is Strange Stories with Jeremiah Byron. If you have something to share story wise, Bigfoot, cryptid, weird UFO, strange stuff, call on in. I'll go over the number in a minute. But the rule is you gotta keep clean language. Uh, two reasons. And I'm not saying anything bad about, the last episode. It was a great episode, but keeping it clean for two reasons. One, there's a lot of my show kind of has like a family, a lot of whatever. You get it, you get it. I'm the cryptid dad, but the main reason is I don't know where this is going to go in the future, and it would be nice to have a backlog that's not full of f bombs in it, so that I could use it, maybe in a variety of different places. So rule is if you're going to call in, you can't use the swears. Sorry, that's the way it's going to be. Art Bell style. 10 people. Let's other than that, I love you guys. But let's shout out who we got in the chat today. Long Island Bigfoot. Ayo, good to see you, man. Mitzi Woo Woo sipping on margarita. There you go. Ashers, let's go. Good to see Ashers. Patrick McFarland, hello, present. Davis Adams, ready to rock. Oh yeah. Ashers, I'll do better. Ashers, you're the best. Here's a reminder. If you're on Facebook, make sure that you click on the link where you can accept that Facebook and StreamYard can see who you are, because right now I just see that Facebook user said, "What's up, brother?" Um, but I'm glad you're here, Facebook user. Daniel Thorndike, woo, what's up, man? And we got Alan Lassiter, what's up? And we got Patrick Vaughn. Oh, darn. A lot of people have been digging the Patrick Vaughn episode from a few back. So glad to have you in the chat, Patrick. And speaking of past episodes, we got Sharon from Vancouver Island episode. A lot of people are, of course, fans of that. So let's go over it. The way that this works is I have a call-in show, Strange Stories with Jeremiah Byron, every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday night from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. And you have the ability to call on in and share your strange story live on YouTube. It is recorded for the podcast, and who else? Uh, there's the Bigfoot Society podcast and Strange Stories with Jeremiah Byron podcast, if you want to just hear this stuff. Everyone go subscribe to that. Also, subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on any future episodes. But let's get down to it. If you've got a story, call on in 515-809-0165. I don't have LaCroix tonight, but I do have H2O with me. Oh, it's so good. It's so good for you too. But yeah, the way that this show goes is sometimes we get calls right off the bat. Sometimes we have to drag it out, and we get a great call at the end. Like Sharon calls in from Vancouver at 9:43, but we drag it out. We drag it out all the way, and that is fine because we're just hanging out in the comments. Um, and we got a lot of people hanging out. But also, if you have a friend in mind, think of a friend right now that has a crazy story or a weird story that needs to share it. Send that message to the friend. Say, hey, you need to call into this guy, Strange Stories with Jeremiah Byron, right now. He's this weird dude, but he's cool. He spends 3 nights a week doing this old school call-in show, Art Bell style. But hey, you can call 515-809-0165, and I do it. I do it because I do it for you guys. And I do it because it's fun too. But I do it for you guys because I know a lot of people do enjoy this. And I appreciate you all being here. And it's kind of become a thing where, like, if work is getting you down or whatever, you have this so you can kind of chill out. You can kind of kick back. You can have a water or a margarita like Mitzi's doing. It's kind of like I used to do this with I used to watch Dignation back in the day. I don't know if anyone remembers Dignation, but like they used to just talk about the news and like drink beer. Um, let's see, what do we got in the chat? We should get a radio show going on. Daniel, I love how you have amazingly huge ideas, but who knows what it could turn into, and that's why I'm like, we gotta keep the language clean just in case. Patrick McFarland says, I'd call, but I'm shy. Hey, dude, take that step and call on in. 515-809-0165. Mitzi's saying, don't be shy. Mitzi's called in twice, and she's had some really, really fun stories. She's talking about the weird woods of uh, Stevens State Forest in Iowa, and then some like orb she saw in a farm area down in Indianola, Iowa. That's weird stuff. So even if you think the story is like, not super cool, or like you feel shy about your uh-oh. Rut-row.
Call.
Hi, caller.
Hey, how are you?
Good. This is Jeremiah, Strange Stories with Jeremiah Byron. This is live on YouTube and recorded for the podcast. How's it going, man?
Good, good. This is Mike from Long Island Bigfoot.
Oh my
I
goodness,
know I
dude.
said
Yeah. What's up?
I know I said a few times, like in the past, I'll tap in, and then so I wanted to kind of stand up to my word there, but yeah, I don't really have anything like specific off the top of my head, but like I don't know. Do you want like the strangest story or
Let's
like
let's yeah, let's do you if you have any strange stories, go ahead, throw one out.
um yeah, I do have one that's a
Okay.
little. It's traumatizing, but I just have to categorize it as the strangest.
Okay. As long as you're cool with it. If you're cool with it, then we'll
Yeah,
go
yeah,
for it.
yeah. I
All right.
mean,
All right.
I've spoke on it before, but it does. This actually
All
makes it
right.
a little easier because I can't see myself. Like
Yeah,
the
exactly.
time that I told it, I was on StreamYard and I could see myself going through the emotions. So this might make it a little easier.
Okay.
So it's no secret. Obviously, I go mostly on Long Island. I also go into Catskills now too for the past year. But Long Island, I do the suburban Sasquatch thing. I go into the Pine Barrens, all these different areas of the woods out in eastern Long Island, and this one particular place is where I frequent the most. And there's these old like federal buildings, if you will, without giving location. It's an old like big hospital grounds,
I'm
very
down.
very widespread with tunnels underneath. So there's a sub basement to the tunnels that we know of. And anyway, so the woods are all around this place, and it's a it's very weird because some of it's on federal land, some of it is a public mountain biking area, and then also some of it falls into people's backyards in some areas, and it spreads out in very very many different areas, and it just goes all the way around this big federal hospital. And this one particular spot, I was off trail. I wasn't on a trail in particular, and I was looking for signs of Sasquatch and things to that effect. And I've had plenty of luck in this area before, but um, this particular spot, it's a two-part, 2 different day scenario. So this particular day was a doom and gloom kind of scenario, very overcast, but it was the middle of the day, but very overcast, very close to rain without rain. Dark clouds, dark skies. Sometimes animals will, on these days, kind of come out, and nocturnal animals, things, they get confused with the weather and things. So I don't know if that had anything to do with this particular thing, but I can only categorize it as what I can find on the internet, and the best thing I can categorize it as would be a crawler
Oh, snap.
or rake or something to that effect. I'll give a description of this thing on day one and then on day two. So this first time I saw it, it was a pale humanoid, very, very lanky looking, probably about 6 foot, 6.5 foot, low to the ground, but still standing, kind of hiding and lurking, watching me, very curious, but didn't look very sure of itself, but inquisitive and didn't look strong. It looked kind of weak, if you will. But it was out there, and for whatever reason, it decided to flee, and it went into this, like, what's kind of a cave, but it's not. It's a big opening of rubble that goes to the underground of this big hospital area. And I'd imagine that's where it dwells, is down there somewhere in the sewers, whatever the case may be. So I did not like that. I did not go back to this area for quite a long time. But as somebody, as a combat veteran, went through a lot of trauma and PTSD, I know that to go through trauma, you got to kind of go through it. So reluctantly, I had returned to that spot at a later date, and another time, and nothing happened. And I guess I got complacent to an extent, and started to forget. Not forget, but forget a little bit. And, out of sight, out of mind, maybe. And then on another day, similar to the first one, there was an overcast, very dark, doom and gloom type scenario. This thing appeared again, and it was stronger than the first time I saw it.
It was stronger.
It was standing more upright. It looked more muscular. I could almost see the blood coursing through its veins. The veins were like, its muscles were pulsating. Its veins were pulsating. Like it looked like the veins they were like three maybe colored veins, like different colored veins, like purple, blue, and red. But it's like they sat on top of its muscles, and it just looked like more stronger and more confident and more intent on locking in on me this time, rather than locking in on running to that hole or whatever it was. I just call it the Rake cave because I don't know what else to call it. So I had just come from where it is standing at this point. And there was a lot of down trees and things to that effect, and thorns. And, it took me about 20 minutes to get the 100 yards that were between us. Because I remember there was one tree, I actually had to roll over it. I had to roll my back onto it and roll over it because it was so big. And then there was thorns, picking them out of me and whatever. I kept getting stuck. So it took me a while to get from the point where it was standing to where I was standing. So that's important in this next part because it lunged forward. And started to, and it started to progress very rapidly. I remember at one point there was these two, maybe they were ferns, I don't know, some kind of saplings maybe. They were thinner trees, but I remember it grabbed them and used them almost like rubber band, like if you would put a slingshot in, big slingshot in it grabbed those and pulled itself forward, to lunge through. It ran on all fours and then pulled at the same time and pulled itself through like a frog would leap.
Yeah.
And it was clearing all of this brush in a matter of seconds, where it just took me a matter of many minutes, like it was nothing. And I remember my reaction was kind of, well, damn, guess this is it.
Yeah, this is it.
It wasn't, people are like, oh, did you get out your gun? Did you get, and I don't carry, but people are like, did you get out your gun? What'd you do? Did you start to run? No, I was just like, well, nope, there it goes. This is just it, huh? And I know it sounds stupid, but when I guess my assessment of this thing was that I couldn't put up a fight. Now you're talking to a combat veteran who's been to war. I know how to put up a fight. And combatives tournaments. I'm trained in all sorts of stuff. Like no, I just accepted defeat, which is not something a soldier does, but that's what my mind, I guess, processed. Just no, and and you might say, oh, why didn't you run? My only options were all that thicket that I'm telling you about. That took me a lot of time to go through, and then to my other side was this huge hill, and it always took me a lot to get up that hill. Like I would always slide back down. I would I would have to get on all fours and kind of like dig my fingernails into the earth, or like find roots somewhere and really hope they didn't fall out, and I would fall back down, stuff like that. So it really just didn't seem like an option, I guess. Anyone who knows me knows that I have a relationship with a Sasquatch. In particular, I call him Bubba.
Okay.
So here's where things get a little weird.
Oh, we're not to the weird. Like that was not the weird part. That the whole like Rake
Okay.
stuff. That's like whatever. Oh my goodness. Okay, keep going.
Okay, here's where it gets a little more weird, I suppose.
All right.
So Bubba, now I'm accepting defeat, basically. So
sure.
Now Bubba shows up, and I have no idea where he came from or what happened or how he got there. This 10-foot behemoth that he is, and he's a gentle giant. Don't get me wrong.
Okay.
But he is now next to me, and I can see out of my peripheral that he is there. And I look up, and he looks down, kind of out of his peripheral, and look back towards this thing bull charging. And he lets out this what I can only describe as a sonar scream.
Okay.
Like how a dolphin would but without separation, like just this sonar scream. And it's like it had a velocity. Like if you could see sound, it would be like a 50 cal round hit this thing in the chest. It's like it spun him off his feet and made him instantly, I call it a him, but made this thing instantly turn its direction and scamper and haul right into that thing. And he, as it ran, he kept directing this vocal after him, as if to keep him like shooing in that direction. And so after, I'm kind of speeding it along. I'm sorry. Like I tend to do this because it is so traumatic, and I know it's just out there. But so what I can only imagine now is after this thing was gone into that hole, he continued to do like a back and forth with that same loud pitch. Almost what I would imagine is like he was clearing the area or the whole area, maybe possibly of negativity or something, like you would sage your home or something.
Sure.
This is just speculation. I don't know what the purpose
was.
And mind you, he's screaming so loud, and I know how loud this is because I can hear it, but at the same time, it's right next to me, but it's not hurting my ears. I don't know how to explain that. To this day, I don't get that.
Man,
I don't understand how it didn't bother my ears at all. So that's what makes me think it was somehow like a guided, directed thing.
Sure.
because I can hear the sound. It's loud as anything, but it's right next to me, but it's not affecting me. Can't really explain that. Now, mind you, I just told you, it was kind of like, now I'm like looking up at him in amazement, and he kind of looks down at me like, get out, like, go. And, I don't know how I knew, but that's what he was trying to tell me. He didn't vocalize it or what, but he was like, I knew he was trying to mimic or say to me, go, just get out. So my options is, again, I'm not going that way. So I go up the hill. So I go to get ready to do that like awkward climb up the hill.
Right.
And again, strange stories, right? I don't know how to explain this part, but it felt like somebody put an escalator under me.
Really?
And I just floated up that hill. Whoa. With the ease. Like I didn't have to put in a single piece of effort to get to the top. And I was just at the top. And like almost like a giant hand came under me, picked me up under my feet or something, and just put me up there. Like that's I and again, I can't explain it.
Wow.
I didn't black out or anything. I was conscious, but I just don't know how I ended up from there to there. You know what I mean?
I wonder if it was Bubba somehow.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's something I can't explain. At least in our terms, I could just kind of recall what I saw and what I experienced, but as far as making sense out of it, I don't have many answers.
And first off, that is an amazing story. Mike, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that man, I can see how that would be hard for you to share that. The Rake creature, the crawler, my goodness, dude. You didn't say exactly where this location is. You said Catskills or Long Island, right? Ish.
This was on Long Island, yeah.
You're saying creatures like that are on Long Island?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, dude. How did they get there?
Well,
that's wild. Well,
here's the thing. Yeah. I mean, I can only, I can only boil, like, I could bring it back to, like, my first encounter with Bubba was, in a nutshell, I had been planning a trip to the Pac West at the time, and I had been healing from my trauma overseas and addiction and all these things, and I had a brain injury from IEDs over there and things like that. So I was an empty shell.
Yeah.
And while I was healing and getting all these, getting better in many ways, I was pretty hopeless and like, really at ground zero with myself. And I think that was his opportunity to kind of step in and show himself. And wow. I can only speculate, but sobriety was available, so I was available. A very, very, like a very, very fresh start on all levels. Like, maybe even the TBI kind of like reset something. I don't know. I can only speculate, but when he showed himself to me, I was on board with you too. Like, they're not here.
It's crazy, dude. But I mean, you saw him. It's wild. Do you think have other people seen that creature there? Or?
Yes. Now, not him in particular, but like, since I've started this, journey and putting it out in the public and stuff, I've had people come forward and
really
say that they've had sightings and encounters here. And then I started to realize that, some of the same areas I'm doing was Jeff Meldrum's first areas and stuff like that. And there's been other researchers before me that just haven't, didn't have the same platforms that we have now. And, Montauk was one where there was frequent sightings of Junior, the Sasquatch.
You know what? Synchronicity Asher's in the chat just said, food for thought. Montauk is very close by, and that's where Camp Hero is, just as you were starting to say that.
Yeah, well, yeah, nothing's by coincidence, is it?
Yeah. That's
You know, but
wild, dude.
if you look at Plum Island and Camp Hero and then Brookhaven Labs, they form this like triangle, and I don't know if that means anything, but they're all pretty close to each other. And then I don't know. There's a lot of high strangeness that happens around here that just gets quickly covered up. You know, the '92 crash, the UFO crash in South Haven Park. People said they saw something like a Brookhaven Labs, something come from there to shoot it down.
Really?
Yeah, you know, there's a lot that goes on set.
Wow.
From this.
I mean, you're experiencing stranger things for real, is what it sounds like out there.
Well, you know, yeah, you know, it's funny too if you go there, like there's a bunch of electrical trucks and shit there too, and like for what? Like, what are you guys still doing here? Like, why is there so much? Why is there so much activity here still? You know, and anytime something gets opened or broken into, like it's covered up right away. And you know, there's little strange facts that people don't know. Like the people in Montauk, like, you know, they don't own the land underneath their feet.
Really?
Like under their canopy. Yeah, like they don't own that land. Like that's the only place on Long Island where that's the case, because they don't want people digging, you know.
That's nuts.
Yeah. It's not, I mean, there's places in Montana, like, you know, like where Montana, that's like a statewide thing, but like just Montauk, like that's the only place that exists.
Wow.
You know? And my buddy Montauk is Strange is his channel, but Brian Minnick, he does a lot of Camp Hero. He's been going there for years, way before it was a public park. And he's got so much information about this stuff.
You said Brian Minnick?
Yeah, he's a living legend. This guy, he's a great friend of mine.
I need to I need to look him up.
Yeah. I mean, I could connect you.
Okay.
If you want, you know,
I would love to talk to him.
Yeah, no, he's brilliant, bro. I mean, he's as close as it gets to Stranger Things. Like, he knows more about that than, you know, Peter Moon is the only other person living that knows, you know, about as much about what happened there. You know, so.
These are guys you personally know.
Yes, yeah.
Wow. That's intense, dude. Mike.
I actually just texted Brian and said, what are you doing tomorrow? So
okay. Wow. Dude, I love it. This is amazing. Man, one of the most intense stories yet, dude. Mike, thank you so much for calling in. Also, thank you so much for your service to our country. You went through some tough I can't even say everything I say is an understatement. Thank you, sir. Thank you for calling in as well, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, brother. Keep up the good work, man.
Thank you. Wow, what an intense first story. If you got any thoughts about that call, go ahead, put them in the chat right now. We'll discuss. What did everyone think about that call? Mike calling in, Long Island Bigfoot. He's experiencing stranger things for real out there. Saw a Rake creature, Bubba the Bigfoot. The guy is the Montauk area, Camp Hero. Holy mackerel! This guy is. Mike is seeing the real deal out there. I need to check my phone real quick. Oh. Hold on. I got to call a guy back.
This Patrick.
Patrick, hello. This is Jeremiah from Strange Stories of Jeremiah Byron. It's live and recorded for the podcast. Sir, I apologize because I just saw that email, and I know you sent it a long time ago, but you're the gentleman from the Van Meter Visitors Festival, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
You betcha.
How's it going?
It's going. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. We just had a crazy first call. If you heard with the Rake creature on Long Island.
I did.
Wow.
That was interesting.
Yeah.
That's my stories aren't nearly as interesting as that, but yeah, this article that I sent you, my mom did genealogy for years, And after she had passed away, my oldest sister had, inherited all of her information she had, and just tucked away in all that information was this news article. It has nothing to do with anybody in my family, but I found it really interesting, and it's Adair County um, was about a big ape at large.
And
You know,
let's put in a little bit of background because keep in mind we're lucky enough to know what Adair County is, but everyone
right?
else does not have an idea of what we're talking about.
You bet.
Yeah.
You bet. Yeah. So yeah, it's Adair County, Iowa. It's southwestern part of Iowa. Um, Pretty heavily timbered down that area. So yeah, this article talks about a husband and wife who went out coon hunting, and they had a couple of their dogs, and they had an encounter with a large ape-like creature. Yeah, they got some glimpses of it, I believe. And their dogs were just terrified, just absolutely terrified, didn't want anything to do with it. And yeah, it's just a really, really interesting article.
And it's old too, right?
Yeah, from the 30s or 40s.
That's wild.
Right in that area. Yeah. So, yeah, judging by some of the stuff on the back, it's pretty old. The prices for things was really cheap. So, but yeah, there was that, and then I kind of talked to you at the Van Meter Festival uh, about an experience I had not too far from where you're at right now.
You had a really cool story. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So there was this old abandoned rock quarry south of the town that I grew up in, Earlham, Iowa.
Yep.
And it was it was kind of a party place. We used to have kegers and do crazy stuff, go swimming down there and rock climbing and stuff. And a friend of mine and his girlfriend decided to go down there one evening, and we had a little bonfire, and we're just sitting there, we're drinking a few beers, and this is like the early 90s, like 92, right in that area. And we're just in there talking and stuff like this, and all of a sudden we had some rocks thrown at us, like they were landing like right by our feet, right in the middle of us. And we kind of like, what's going on? Of course, our minds didn't go to, hey, it's Bigfoot or it's, whatever. We're thinking somebody's messing with us. So my buddy and I, we take off. There's this huge lime pile close by, and that's the direction we thought it came from. So we went on around this, one way and the other way, and didn't find a thing. Couldn't figure it out. And it happened to us for probably 3 or 4 times. And we finally said, well, that's enough.
Yeah.
We got the heck out of there. So.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I mean, I would like to think that it was some kind of creature throwing rocks at you, but even if that's a person throwing some rocks at you, it's like you don't want to meet that guy.
Well, yeah. I mean, we were we were early 20s or whatever, and of course we were headstrong. We were just, we were going, whoever's doing that, we're going to take care of business. And,
true. Yeah, that's true. True.
Yeah. But, yeah, I don't know. And it took years. Like I said, I didn't really develop an interest in any Bigfoot or Sasquatch or any of that until later on in life. And then I watching a show on television, and it was talking about, how they like to throw rocks and, stuff like that. And then something clicked, and I'm like, well, I wonder if that was what was
there you go
happening to us. So yeah. So anyway, I really appreciate you taking my call.
Yeah, and, you got it. Yeah, I saw I missed you during the first one, so I had to give you a call back. But you keep your eyes out, keep your eyes open and ears open. If you ever hear anything, in this area, and I'm trying to get established too, Bigfoot stuff, you let me know, man. So.
Well, there's definitely, I live around Winterset, Iowa now.
Oh yeah, sure.
There's stories that, when I was a kid of Bigfoot sightings, from the 70s and
Oh,
80s,
exactly.
around this area.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
Oh yeah, late 70s, tons of Bigfoot sightings in Iowa, all over the place for sure. So I definitely agree with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
Man,
Well,
thanks for calling in.
you betcha. Thanks for taking it. And if you want to see this article in person, I'd be happy to make a copy of it or whatever and send it to you. So,
All right, I'll be in touch, brother. Have a good one.
all right, you do the same.
Yep.
Bye.
Great call. Oh man. Super cool call about 1930s to 40s era ape sighting in southwest Iowa. That's awesome. Oh man. I'm pumped that I was able to talk to him tonight. Oh, good stuff. Also, I wanted to shout out Daniel. I had actually forgotten I had made this. You can actually join the YouTube channel if you want to, and you get a cool little emoji next to your name in the chat, which is fun, and I appreciate that, Daniel. Thank you for joining the channel, Daniel. Actually, if you want to hear an episode with Daniel, it just came out a few days ago. Daniel's with Blue Room Insight podcast, which is a super awesome podcast. Check it out. Let me make sure, guys. We are rocking and rolling tonight. It's about 9:36. We're like halfway through. We got all sorts of people in the chat right now. If you got any thoughts about any of the calls that have come in tonight, definitely put them in the chat. We got, man, I love Hellbent Hollers here. Unscreened listener calls. I know it's a tightrope of fun. Jeremiah rocking the old school Art Bell open lines vibe. That's what I'm trying to do. I appreciate you, Hellbent Holler. Awesome. Thanks for being here. We got Central Florida Bigfoot. Matt, how's it going? Good to see you, my dude. Through the Den. What's up, man? If you haven't heard the Through the Den episode yet, a few back, it's a good one. I appreciate you. Appreciate you saying he's doing something special. Well, we got a little less than half an hour left, guys. If anyone has a story to call in, this can be Bigfoot related, cryptids, UFOs, aliens, strange stuff, weird stuff that happened to you. The one rule we do have, however, is if you call in, uh, gotta keep the clean language. No swearing, please, because we don't know where this is going to end up, and I don't want to have to edit all these in the future. So, um, yeah, give a call in, and if you got a buddy that has a story that should be calling in, go ahead, share this number 515-809-0165. This is live on YouTube right now. It's recorded for the Bigfoot Society podcast and I have Strange Stories with Jeremiah Byron. You can find it on Spotify and on I think it's on Apple right now too. And if you just want to hear the stories, subscribe there. Bigfoot Society, you can hear all of it. You can hear stories plus interviews. Oh, Patrick Vaughn in the chat. Matt has proof. He just won't share it. Funny dude. All right. We got 19 people in the chat hanging out. Guys, let me know what you think about what do you think about the calls? Did you have any thoughts about the calls so far? Let me know, and we can discuss about that while we're waiting. Hellbent Holler, guys, if you're not following Hellbent Holler, you need to make sure that you are. Joe and Jesse are doing some really cool stuff. They got amazing videos where you can see him going out into the land between the lakes area of Kentucky looking for the dog man. It's intense. And then they got these crazy great call-in live shows. Whoa.
Call from
Rex.
Hello, caller.
Hi,
this is Jeremiah from Strange Stories of Jeremiah Byron, live and recorded for podcast. How's it going?
great. How are you doing tonight?
Good.
Well, I can't, beat that Rake story, but I do have a story I thought I'd worth sharing. And just to mention, I do have a website. I mean, not a website, a YouTube page, Wasatch Sasquatch. This isn't Bigfoot related, but it's kind of a odd story I haven't told many people, so I'll just kind of go into it here.
Sorry, one more time. What was the name of the page, real quick?
Yep, it's Wasatch Sasquatch. Which
Oh,
is
yeah.
I'm
Okay.
in the forest, kind of wandering
Yep.
around looking for. Yep.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm familiar with that.
Anyway,
Very cool. Thank you for calling in.
Yeah, I thought I might as well. I just came across your video here. So so this is in the Wind River Range. I like to do landscape photography, and so I kind of have visited all the states around Utah, Colorado. I did one summer, but anyway, this is in Wyoming, and so this is a 411 David Paulides kind of area because the Wind River Range is lots of granite, and he has some stories up there. So anyway, I've went to the northern tip of the Wind River Range, and it's the headwaters to the Green River. And so I'm, photographing this. I'm interested in an area. It's a Square Top Mountain. You can go on the, Google Maps and look that up. But there's a bunch of pioneer cabins there. Let me clear my throat here.
Sure.
1 second. Yeah, so it's kind of an end of the day. There's kind of a golden sky. You can imagine. I could even send a link in the chat later, but this is some photos I took. But anyway, you can picture a golden sky, and there's kind of a leaden sky of dark clouds overhead because there's an occasional rumble. And I'm here trying to frame this photo, and there's actually a beaver in the water just there, and there's some old pioneer cabins, kind of the remains of them. So anyway, I'm shooting away, and as I'm, bending down, looking through the viewfinder, something, this is what happened. It felt like something smacked me on the head. I'm just sitting there, and there's nothing there. And so I'm taken aback, and I just, so I keep, shooting things, but I'm in the habit of putting my camera on kind of a 3-second delay because on a tripod that minimizes the shaking. And so anyway, I step away from the camera to do that as I'm, taking photos. I'll sit there and wait for it, and it clicks, and then I come back. On one of these frames, I notice there's a hand in one of my photos, and there's no way that my hand was there with the delay that I put on. So it's kind of light, as I remember it. It's kind of a little bit blurry because it wouldn't be in focus that close to the camera. It wasn't it was in focus for infinity out, for further out landscape. Anyway, so I take a few more photos. I wrapped up pretty quick. I know it will sound like I'm, making this up because I when I got home, I was so horrified. I deleted that photo. I shouldn't have done that. But anyway, so this storm is rolling in, and it's, that night I slept in my SUV just, because next morning I wanted to be there to take some more photos. And I experienced the most powerful lightning storm I've ever been in. And I grew up in Florida where there's all sorts of electrical storms. And it just was nonstop, flashes and thunders, and it was quite the, fireworks that night. And so I don't know. I've heard that, I guess electrical storms can, give power to like entities, if or whatever. And I guess.
Oh, sure.
So anyway, luckily that day I didn't turn to a missing 411 case, but that's kind of an odd one. I've had experiences with Sasquatch, just kind of minor things. I've heard them multiple times, haven't actually seen one, but that one is stands out in my mind as something kind of I wasn't expecting really. So anyway,
so you had a photo where there was a hand or an arm in it.
Yep, close up of a hand. It was.
Oh wow!
Kind of, as I remember, it was kind of pale and out of focus, and just I don't think it was touching it, but it was like it's trying to block the view. It seemed like so. Anyway.
Man, that is wild, dude. Ooh. And
yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's related to the 411, abductions, but I guess I didn't get abducted. But it seemed like something had some type of power there.
Dude, that is
anyway.
wild, Rex. Man, thank you for sharing that. So you're out quite a bit looking for Bigfoot out there in Wyoming and all that area?
Well, most of the time, since Utah, I'm in Utah actually.
Okay.
All my stuff for Bigfoot is in Utah. I would say Wasatch Range. That's why I call Wasatch Sasquatches. And then I do the Uintas a little bit. That's more like
Oh, you do.
Skinwalker Ranch is just south of
Whoa.
that. And I don't plan on going to Skinwalker Ranch, but I've been in the Uintas, and I just put in the chat there. That's the photo I was taking, that I was mentioning. You can see the lead and sky and then the golden. So anyway, that's actually a photo I was framing and put together. But anyway, yeah. And if anybody wants to go on my channel, I had this fall, I heard something. It sounded like a vocalization of Sasquatch. You can go on there. I think it's dated October 15th.
Nice. Okay.
It's just a really brief kind of for lack of I can't impersonate it, like a bruh or something really a lot of bass to it. And
Yeah.
I thought it might be a moose or something, but I talked to some people and I said, no, that doesn't sound like a moose. So I put it up there, and I'm not saying it's absolutely Sasquatch, but it's I don't know, people can judge for themselves. So anyway, that's up there if anybody wants to.
That's fascinating. Now I
Anyway.
have I've always wanted a contact that's been involved with Utah and especially the Uinta area, which is very cool. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard of or remember Nathan Rio. He had a Utah Sasquatch YouTube channel, but he
Sounds familiar.
been to Walker Ranch, just the ridge overlooking it, not actually the ranch itself, because some other people who own the land up over the ridge there. But anyway, and keep listening a little longer. But
Rex, thank you for calling in. I appreciate you sharing your story. Very cool.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Have a great night. Wow, guys, we are having a crazy Bigfoot themed episode, really. We got a lot of stuff going on in the chat. I see there's some chat about the silver that Bigfoot footage from Tennessee. There's an interesting article on that. I want to say on Coast to Coast AM, and I'll let you all read that and then kind of analyze the evidence for yourself. There's some interesting photos that were found in regards to that, but I'll let you all do a little bit of digging regarding that. Guys, we have about 10 minutes left. Still time for someone to call in if you've got a story to share. Already we've had Long Island Bigfoot. We had him call in with the Rake and Bubba the Bigfoot. We had Patrick call in from Central Iowa about the Ape Man of the 30s to 40s. We had Rex call in sharing about who knows what he captured on camera to do with a hand or an arm of a Bigfoot. Pretty wild. But we got 12 minutes left. Let's see. Who are we gonna do this could be a 4-call episode. We've only had one of those. If someone has an episode to tack on to the great ones we've had so far, go ahead, call in 515-809-0165. We got tons of people hanging out in the chat right now. I appreciate y'all being here. We got lots of Bigfoot people in the chat right now. Good stuff. Yeah, let me know in the chat what you think of the stories so far. If you've got any thoughts of those, go ahead and share about this going on right now in your Facebook groups or Discords, wherever. You can share the 515-809-0165 number with any of your friends that have maybe a story to share. But we're having a good night. We got about 10 minutes. And there's Wasatch Sasquatch in the chat right there. So make sure that you check out his channel. Definitely. Oh my goodness, we got Connor from Bigfoot Anon. What's up, my dude? Good to see you. You know, it's a party when Bigfoot Anon shows up. Dude, Connor, you got to call in one of these times, my man. You got to call in and give us a Connor story. 515-809-0165. Um, remember, we do have call-in shows every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday night from 9 to 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. Let's see. So it's Thursday. I'll have one Sunday and then Tuesday. But because of Crypticon, I will be. It looks like definitely not Thursday, and probably not Sunday either. But we will see. We will see. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel and definitely hit the bell because there might be some interesting things that come up on the channel during CryptidCon. I can't make any uh promises, but I am gonna try. So let's see. Oh, cool. Okay, so Connor just got out of seeing Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. All right, dude. All right. Very cool. Guys, we're just hanging out here. Again, if you're listening and watching on the Facebook side, make sure you click that link so that you can so that I can see who it is. This is a record tonight. I think we got 25 people. I think that's the record. Yeah. I have to look in the analytics. Not that it matters. We're having a great time. Hellbent Holler, we're missing Crypticon this year. Hope that everyone has a ball. Yeah, it's gonna be my first one, so I'm excited. But I'll meet you guys someday. Hellbent Holler. Let me know if you're gonna be at Crypticon. Let me know in the chat. And if you see me walking around with the Bigfoot Society shirt on, which Bigfoot Society, of course, looks like this. Make sure you come over, you say hi. I'm not going to have a vending booth, but I will. My main point is to be walking around, meeting people, having a good time, kind of enjoying it as a attendee. Guys, we got about 8 minutes left. Who's going to be the one that's going to be closing out the night with a final story? There's still time. The 8 minutes left. Who's going to be that person? Let's see. Oh, okay. Squatch Network is hanging out. It says, anyone near Long Pine Road in the Everglades? I heard people riding ATVs had rocks thrown at them recently. Tate, if you're in here, that might be interesting to know. Let's see who else. Oh, man. Okay. So Connor's busy. He's making 2 short films this weekend for a 48-hour film festival. And then who knows? They'll probably be winning festival awards. Guys, we've been having a great time tonight, just hanging out. I'm glad you all are hanging out with me. We've got about 7 minutes left here. Daniel's saying, I absolutely love this. Thank you, good sir, for hanging out. Appreciate you. Yeah, having a great Thursday night. You know what the great news is, guys? For most of us, tomorrow's Friday, and then it's the weekend. And then we are how many people are going out to look for Bigfoot this weekend? Let me know. Let me know in the chat if you got a Bigfoot hunt or a Bigfoot expedition planned for this weekend. Guys, we got 5 minutes left. We'll just we'll chat it out. But if anyone has a story, quick story, you can always call on in 515-809-0165. Mitzi says she has to work. You'll get your time coming up. I hope eventually, Mitzi. Let's see. Through the Den, I'm going to ghost hunting. Oh my goodness. So Through the Den, you had all the crazy Bigfoot encounters and then you won't go in, but now you're going ghost hunting, which is cool. That's good. Just be careful out there, Don't be afraid of any ghosts out there. Let's see what we got. Oh, brown dwarf is going on a Bigfoot expedition right now. Angeles National Forest. Very cool. Very cool. You have to let us know if you have anything come up from that expedition. Uh, Through the Den has lots of ghost stories. Well, you know where to call if you're comfortable with sharing them. Let's see. We got Hellbent Holler without stringing long duration recorders in the area where we caught that weird audio a few weeks ago. I love that. That is so cool. Awesome. Can't wait to hear on your channel the results of those recorders. Make sure you drink water, guys. It's really good. Mitzi has a ghost dog story. Holy mackerel. Mitzi, you've got the craziest stories. There's a lot of good, great story gatherers in here. Okay, let's see. Tate is saying hasn't personally heard of Bigfoot throwing rocks at people on ATVs down in Florida, but it has been reported in other places. Good to know, man. There you go. Alan's hanging out. This is an awesome show. Thank you, brother. Guys, we got about 4 minutes left. It's getting near the end. If anyone wants to do a quick call, that is cool. You still got time to do it. 515-809-0165. There's a lot of interesting. Oh, interesting. There's a lot of. I got some interesting names to pursue. I think I'm gonna set up an interview with one of these two guys. Mike, if you're still watching from Long Island Bigfoot, I'll be in touch, man. Because if you know guys that were really involved with seeing some crazy Long Island. Uh-oh. All right.
Call from
David Parker.
If you're still watching from Long Island.
to accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Hi, David.
Hey, how's it going?
Hi, David. This is Jeremiah from Strange Stories. It's live and recorded for the podcast. How are you doing, sir?
Pretty good.
Can I ask you
the
to do
Bigfoot's been really active now that it's deer season.
Can you turn down the audio on your computer, David, please? Because I get some feedback a little bit.
Yeah,
It's weird.
I
Thank
shut
you.
it off.
All right, thank you, sir. Go ahead.
How's that?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Well, the Bigfoot here have been really active with it being deer season. They're all stirred up. You'll hear them where there'll be the howl like a werewolf, and then about 5 coyotes go off. I hear that from about 6 different places.
Oh.
Then you hear the females all going off like, kind of like, like a hoot owl, and then it morphs, and then it'll sound, like a crow. And crows, they don't make noise at night because owls will kill them.
True. Good point.
And then it goes into where it sounds like chimpanzee and some whoops that sound extremely primate. And I've been dealing with them for over the past 10 years. I've even tried to hand feed them before.
You tried to hand feed a Bigfoot?
Yeah, an adult female.
Really?
Right in my yard. I had a witness watch from inside the house.
Wow.
I mean, I was sweet talking her, like, hey, sweetheart, come on, baby, you can do it. Because I wanted to get a good look at her, because I've done grocery shopping at night, and they watched over my house while I was gone.
Okay.
And when I got back, I'm getting out, and all of a sudden you get this mega whoo, and kind of made me jump, and
yeah.
He was there. So I made a sandwich, and I come out, and I'd been exchanging calls for like 15 minutes. And then I was able to get within 7 feet of her, an adult female.
How tall?
Full 8 feet is what they run here, the adult females.
Okay. And what region of the U.S. did you say this is in, David?
I'm in right about dead center in the country, northern Missouri.
Oh, really? So Lake of the Ozarks?
Well, I'm pretty close to the Iowa border,
Oh, okay. Sure.
northern Missouri.
Okay. Wow.
And I'll tell you, they call them Momo here, but they're
Yeah.
very important. Now, since I've moved where I'm at, I've had them swipe 5 deer from me.
Really?
Oh, yeah. If they can get to them first, I'll tell you what, that deer's gone.
Oh, no doubt. So tell me about, so you were seeing this female Bigfoot in your yard. Were you able to look into the face?
Well, that's why I was trying to coax her out, because she was, do you know how the leaves are on a hickory tree?
Okay.
You know, they're kind of like a rubber tree plant.
Sure.
And it was hard to get a good look, so I was trying to coax her out with the sandwich, and I got about 7 feet from her, and then she retreated.
Ah.
But you know, I mean, on all fours, the female's still about 5.5 feet tall.
Wow.
And now the males here, they all average about 12 feet.
Really?
Damn near 7 feet wide at the shoulders.
Oh,
And
man.
real shaggy. And they're very human looking in the face. They got a big round head. Kind of reminds you of an outlaw biker or something.
Okay.
You know, with a big beard and everything. And we got one that frequents our barn quite a bit. I don't care. He doesn't do nothing. He peeks in the windows at times. I've been where, you know, if the glass wasn't there, I could have reached out and touched him. And if you want a real funny story,
Okay.
but I've got a little deck that comes off the door to the kitchen, and there's a window there. And then coming off the deck, there's, like, you know, those concrete stairs where there's 4 steps with a landing. You got that. Well, I had one of them hard tooth rakes leaned up against it. You know, with the short teeth like you see in the Tom and Jerry cartoon.
Yeah.
And I come out and I see it's flipped over.
No
So
way.
I could just imagine, this one I call Little Andy because he's come to me before and I've tossed candy to him and stuff. But I could just imagine he's coming up, he's sneaking up to the window,
Yeah.
and he sidesteps his rake and he got. So he probably damn near jumped out of it. Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, I can imagine it too, David. Oh my
Well,
goodness.
it came at him from the side, I'm sure, you know. So there you are, just trying to focus and everything. And all of a sudden, blam, you know, I'm sure it scared him half to death trying to be sneaky.
There's a Mark in the chat has a really good question for you. Do you remember anything about how they moved? Was it a slow like an ape, or fast like human, or do you remember anything about how they moved, David?
Oh, I've seen them many times over the years. I've even seen the big males run the deer herds.
Oh wow.
Now, I only got to see it once, but there was 3 of them. Because first off, there was, I'd say, about 20 deer, and they were pretty much in a line, and, you know, like shoulder to shoulder, and they were hauling ass. And then about 100 yards behind them was 15 coyotes, and they were all pretty much in a line, and they were chasing the deer. And then behind them was 3 males running on all 4s. And I'll tell you what, people just don't get how big they are. I mean, we're talking as big as a bison. An adult male, when he's on all 4s, he's still 7.5 feet tall.
Wow.
I mean, you know, we ain't talking no babies.
Yeah.
Now, a Bigfoot male at the age of 5 will be 6 feet tall.
Really?
And then they grow about 6 inches a year after that until they reach maturity at age 17. Because I've been watching one, he's 11 feet tall now, and he used to be 6 feet tall.
Some amazing data you have, David. You must be really, really observing them pretty closely over the years.
Shit, I've had him come in the house and rob stuff out of the kitchen.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy.
Like canned fruit. And they used a big knife on the counter, a big chef knife, to open up the cans, and then they took the cans with them so as not to be noticed. But the
Wow.
only cans I found missing were, you know, the fat fruit cans that you get that are kind of like a Demi Moore stew can.
Sure.
That's the ones they took. He took like 3 of them. And the kid's chef knife had a slight bend to it, and the very tip of his knife was rolled. And boy, was he ever giving me dirty looks because he thought I did it.
Yeah.
Used his knife to open the cans, but I didn't. I said, why would I do that? You need a good chef knife, and look at it. And it was all I could do not to laugh in his face. But, you know, the very tip was rolled, and it had a bend to it, you know, like from prying open the lids.
Well, David, thank you for calling in. You got some crazy adventures with those Bigfoot down in northern Missouri, and thank you for sharing those stories, dude. But man, we are at the end of the night. It's past
Okay,
10
well,
o'clock, but thank you for calling in, man.
give me a call
You
at
got it.
some point. I'll send you a message in
Okay.
Messenger, give you my number.
Very good. All right.
All right,
Talk to you later, David.
bye.
Well, that was cool. Thanks for hanging out, all. This has been Strange Stories with Jeremiah Byron. We had a fun chat tonight. You probably want to go back and listen to this one again. Thanks all for being here. Let's do some call outs. Bit Squatch, good night all. Thanks, Jay. Hellbent Holler, great show, Jeremiah. Going back to listen to the Rake call now. It is worth going back and listening to it. Through the Den, awesome show. Thank you, Sharon. Great show. Hellbent Holler, I'll get in earlier next time. That's right. We'll see you at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time next time. Squatch Watch, awesome show, dude. Make sure that, guys, and it's crazy, we almost had 30 people. Tell all your friends about this. Share in your groups. And write down the number 515-809-0165. And make sure that you keep the stories in mind. And then call in next time. You want to make sure that you're subscribed to this channel. Hit the subscribe, and then hit the bell so you don't miss any impromptu story times. You don't miss any episodes. Patrick from Iowa, brilliant show. My first, but not my last. Thank you for calling again. And Asher's, you're killing it, Jeremiah. Thank you, friend. That means a lot. Squash Watch, such a great show, dude. Well, I appreciate y'all being here. We will be through the Den. I am going to be looking forward to that. You better be calling in. And let's end with this. Mark Murcell, Ape Canyon Mark Murcell says, if you see something, say something. I love it. I'll see you guys next time. Sunday night, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. Get those stories ready. I'll be talking to you later.